Hello and welcome to another episode of Formula Food. It's our fourth episode. We're on to the fourth race of this year's Formula One season, and we are in Spain after a slightly boring race in Portugal. We are moving to the other side of the Iberian Peninsula. Last week we had bacalhau, the salted cod stew, and this time from the Catalonia region we have another stew. We have Ollada, which is, in this case, it's going to be a pork and vegetable stew. Not hugely dissimilar to the feijoada we did for the Portuguese Grand Prix last series. This is going to be made up of we've got some chopped pork chops, loads of different bits of chorizo, including this very special chorizo, which again, I've been shopping on the internet. This is called fouet, or fouet. It's spelled F-U-E-T, and it's a very firm, supposedly very nice chorizo that's kind of native to that part of Spain. So we're going to be chopping that up and putting that in our stew as well. Obviously all the other bits, you'll see them going into the pot. I'll probably try and talk about them at any point in time, but as usual, the recipe will be in the description below. It's a link to Foodtribe, that's where all the recipes go up. That's where you'll be able to find all the pieces for this year's series of Formula Food and all the recipes for last year's ones as well. So link in the description below, like, comment, subscribe, all the usual YouTube guff. Let's get on with cooking. So the first thing going into our pot is 2 loads of this. It is a very spicy, just standard supermarket chorizo. And I'm putting the chorizo in first because what this dish relies on heavily is the chorizo for a lot of its flavours, its herbs, its spices, its seasoning. And equally, chorizo is, as you can already see by how greasy my fingers are, incredibly fatty. Which means that we only need that little drizzle of olive oil in the bottom of the pan to start things off. Most of our cooking fat, most of our cooking oil will come from this chorizo. Let's get the hob going. There we go. We will gently almost melt down that chorizo in the pot. We'll add in, we have some other cooking chorizo as well to see how we go. But there's an interesting thing, you can never really have too much chorizo in a dish to a certain point. So we'll leave that in there to start off with, and we'll start some vegetable prep. Okay, so we have the most part of our Ollada started. We have in our pot our aubergine, or eggplant if you're watching this in America, which is wrong because it looks nothing like an egg, it's purple. Eggs aren't, generally speaking, purple. Anyway, eggplant, carrot, pepper, onion, our chorizo of both kinds, our sort of regular spicy chorizo and our special one, whose name I have forgotten, but will most likely remember to edit in here. What else have we got in the pot? Onion, carrot, aubergine, chorizo, mushrooms, they went in as well, didn't they? So we've got a load of vegetables in there. They're cooking down once we've got a bit more room in the pot because it is quite a full pot. Should have probably chosen a bigger one. We are going to add in our pork strips. These ones are just ones that you could use for stir frying, as the packet says. And we're simply just going to pop those in and leave them to cook. A really good method for cooking Ollada that I found in my research has been, apparently, if you slow cook this using like a slow cooker or a crock pot, which is usually a method that I really quite favour, but didn't have the time for today, so we're just doing it on the hob, and then it's going to go in the oven because it is only 4:25 and dinner is at 6:30, so it'll have plenty of time to gently cook away in the oven. But yeah, slow cook this and it is apparently fantastic. Seasonings wise, there isn't a lot to go in seasoning wise. Most of it will come from that chorizo, which is why I chose the chorizos that I did. They have a lot of flavour to them, lovely peppery bite. One thing that does go in is garlic, which we keep in this little muffin container. We have some garlic. There we go. And that will put a clove or two, chopped up into our stew. And much beyond that, that is the stew pretty much finished. Apart from one final thing, or two final things really. I keep saying final thing and adding more. We're also going to be adding in chickpeas. Chickpeas are quite a common addition to a lot of Catalan dishes, so we'll be putting these into our dish as well. And one other thing you can do is there is a brilliant form of sort of nut-based sauce that is very popular in the Catalan region. It's made using sort of pine nuts, hazelnuts, almonds, I think, and it is called this because I cannot remember it and didn't actually bother writing a script for this. This is all unscripted, so when I forget things it's because I've genuinely forgotten. But yeah, there is the nut sauce, and that's used very commonly in a lot of dishes or as like a topping for sort of meat fillets and stuff. And it adds a lovely flavour to things, apparently, if you're not allergic to nuts. I mean, I could do it with pine nuts, but then it's just really a pesto, so it's kind of like that. But there we go. That's what you could add to it, and again, I'll mention that all in the recipe in the write-up in the description below. So once you've got everything assembled in your pot, the next thing you want to do is place your entire stew, your Ollada, into a preheated oven. This one is preheated to 180 degrees fan, and we're just going to leave that to gently cook away until we're ready to serve up.